Hello everyone, this is the answer key to your probability test review so that you can take a look at this and then retry your probability practice test for our test on Wednesday. So the first one here says the probability of 1 means that an event will blank happen. So your options were always, maybe, or never. So we remember that when we have a probability of 1, a probability of 1 means that that's the highest probability that it's definitely going to happen. So the answer to this one was always. So a probability of 1 is when something always is going to happen. So again, that's like a definite. If it were a probability of 0, a probability of 0 would mean it would never happen. So probability ranges from 0 to 1. So the second one here says, what is the theoretical probability of choosing a jack from a standard deck of 52 cards? So when we do this, the bottom number is always our total. The top is how many are that specific card. So in a deck of cards, we have 52. So that's the bottom of our fraction. And the top of our fraction is how many jacks there are. So if you didn't know how many jacks there are, you could Google that, or that's something you could ask me. But there are 4 jacks in a deck. So my probability is 4 out of 52. However, if we simplify that, 4 and 52 are both divisible by 4, so 4 divided by 4 is 1, 52 divided by 4 is 13. So the answer that the practice test is taking is 1 out of 13. So if you put 4 out of 52, it's because you didn't simplify. So make sure that's something you're thinking about as you go through. So the third one says a bag contains 4 black, 3 blue, and 5 red markers. What is the theoretical probability of choosing a blue marker from the bag? So again, the bottom of our fraction is always going to be the total. So in the case of this, to get our total, we're going to add 4 plus 3 plus 5. And we do 4 plus 3 plus 5, we are going to get 12. And then the top is going to be how many blue markers there are. So there are 3 blue. So my probability is 3 out of 12. But if you put 3 out of 12, it's because you forgot to simplify, because both of these are divisible by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So my answer here is 1/4. Okay, so if we keep going, the next one is experimental probability. So it says Kareem rolls 1 die a total of 4 times and lands on 2 a total of 18 times. What is the experimental probability of rolling a 2? So again, experimental now is not based on something that could happen, it's something that did happen. So the bottom is the number of times you rolled the dice, so that will be 40. Oops, not 42. Oh my goodness. And the top of your fraction is going to be how many times you rolled that specific thing. So we're looking for the probability of rolling a 2. So it says we land on 2 a total of 18 times. So my probability here is 18 out of 40. But it happens that both of these are divisible by 2. So 18 divided by 2 is 9. 40 divided by 2 is 20. And that's going to be the simplified answer. So you'll have 9 out of 20 in the box. Now to get the percent, you have to take your fraction, but you now, instead of putting 9 over 20, we're actually going to do the operation, which is divide. So 9 divided by 20 is going to be 0.45. So 0.45 is the decimal, and to get the percent, we'll do 0.45 times 100 to get the percent. So our answer we should type in the box here is 45, and the percent symbol is there for us already. So our answer is 45%, and our fraction is 9 out of 20. Let me box this for us. All right, so number 5 is again experimental probability, and it says Josh flips a coin a total of 15 times and lands on tails a total of 5 times. What is the experimental probability of landing on heads? So here, this is a little bit tricky. So it says he flips a coin 15 times, so 15 will be the bottom. But it says we land on tails 5 times, but we are asking about heads. So if we flip tails 5 times, the only other option is to flip heads. So to get heads, we'll do we will do 15, which is the total number of times, subtract how many times we got tails, and that will tell us how many times we had heads. So heads will actually be 10 times, not 5. So this will be 10 out of 15, and both of these are divisible by 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 2. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So our fraction is 2/3. And again, to get the percent, I'm doing 2 divided by 3. I'll get 0.67 or something to that nature. And then I take that and multiply it by 100 to get my percent. So our answer here is about 66%. If you put 66, it'll also take it. But that will be our answer for this one. Again, the tricky part is that it says tails, but it asks about heads. So number 6 is now when we start to do permutations and combinations. So permutations is an arrangement where the order, so if you think permutations is when the order matters. Where the opposite is combination is an arrangement where the order does not matter. So on your practice test, it might mark this one wrong if you spell it or if you write don't matter or something to that extent. So don't worry about it. As long as you have something about does not or don't or doesn't, I will take this answer. So it might mark it wrong, but know that it will be right. So now we have to start to decide. So it says you are in a boat race competition. In each heat, 4 boats race and the positions of the boats are randomly assigned. And how many ways can the positions of the boats be arranged? So looking at this problem, if we are mentioning the word positions, positions is implying the order matters. The same thing with arranged. So if the order is mattering in the question, this is going to be a permutations problem. Oops, that is a little messy, so I'll recircle it. So this will be a permutations problem. If I take a look at the next one, it says the editor for the school yearbook must decide which pictures will be included this year. They have received 30 pictures, but only have enough room for 25. How many ways can the pictures be selected? So it's not saying anything in this problem about positions or order, and if we are not arranging the pictures and we're just selecting them, there's no difference between the order that you select. So this one will be an example of a combinations problem. So now we're going to start to put the notation in. So it says you and 5 friends go to a movie theater. And how many different ways can they sit together in a row of 6 empty seats? So if we think about the context of this problem, when we are sitting with our friends and it's asking about the ways we can sit with people, that means the order matters because the way that you can change how you sit with people is change where you sit next to or change the order of the seats. So right off the bat, I know this is a permutation because it's asking about where we're going to sit. Now I have to think about how many people there are. So if I look, it says you and 5 friends. So this is a little bit tricky, but you and 5 friends actually means there's 6 of you, because if you add yourself in, that's 6. And it says that there's 6 empty seats. So this will be a 6p6. So our answer here will be this first one. So if I take a look at number 11, let me just zoom in here. It says you are one of 5 students in your math class who will be giving a 5-minute presentation during class tomorrow. The order of the presentations will be determined at random, and how many ways can the presentations be arranged? So again, we have this word order here, and we have this word arranged. So if we're thinking about how the presentations can be arranged, arranging is a permutations. So then we have to think how many students there are giving presentations. So it says you are one of 5. So this doesn't say you and 5, it says you are one of 5. That means there are 5 students. And if we read this in your math class who will give a 4-minute presentation, the order of the presentation will be determined at random, and how many ways can the presentations be arranged. So although we have the second number of 4, it doesn't say only 4 students will be giving presentations, it says they'll be for 4 minutes. So this number is actually irrelevant. And since there's no other number in the problem, we assume that all 5 students are giving presentations. So what it's looking for is it's looking for an actual number here. So you're actually going to have to enter this into the calculator using the probability button. Or you can use our online math calculator. So either way, when you put in 5p5, you're going to get 120. So my answer here is 120 ways. So you'll put in 120 into the answer box. So if you do need help getting that in the calculator, make sure you can get 120, and if not, feel free to send me an email and I can send you an explanation. So number 12, It says there are 14 players on the varsity bowling team. Your coach randomly pairs up the players to play a practice game. How many groups are possible? So if we are putting people into groups and not mentioning the order that the groups play, splitting people into groups is a combinations because it doesn't matter which one you pick first. So it says there are 14 players. And in this problem, it doesn't mention a second number, but it says that they pair people up. So when we pair people up, that means we're in groups of 2. So our answer here will be 14C2 because we are pairing people up. And then our last problem on this practice test is you've been working on a group project with 5 other people. Your group has decided to have 2 people present the project together. How many groups of 2 are possible? And it gives you this blank here, which means it wants to know the answer. So if we are having people present in groups, and it doesn't mention that the order or how we're arranging them, it just says how many groups are possible. This is a combinations problem because it doesn't matter the order I select the groups, just that I'm selecting them. And it says you are working on a group project with 5 other people. So in this case, when it says you've been working with 5 other people, when you work with 5 other people, that means there's you and 5 other people. So this first number here will be 6. And then it says you have decided 2 people will present. So this is a 6C2, and when I enter that into my calculator using the probability button, I will get 15 groups are possible. So that will be the answer to the last one. So now that you've watched this video, what I would do is I would go back to your practice test on Canvas, and I would try it again and see if you can get some of these right. And whatever ones that you're not able to get right still are ones you're going to ask about in class tomorrow.